Hi everyone, this is Courtney and welcome to your practice. Today's class is all about embracing and working with the qualities of Kapha, or the elements of earth and water. In Ayurveda, or the sister science to yoga, Kapha is emblematic of the heavier, earthy, watery, sticky, smooth, a little bit more grounded energy, which is really great when we're feeling a bit anxious. However, when we have too much Kapha, right, or when we're embracing that too much or going towards that too much, we can feel a little bit stuck and a little depressed, a little lethargic. So this is really a class to balance that energy within us. And Kapha naturally is also connected to the quality of compassion. And with compassion, it's an interesting journey to develop that within ourselves, right? Because compassion requires both a letting go and a gentle opening too. So it kind of sits right in the middle. Compassion for other people, which is what we generally think of with compassion, requires that we're able to forgive and to move forward with relationships. And compassion for ourselves requires those same things. And it's a balancing act between those two to find the sweet spot of compassion, both for respecting our own needs and our own energies in any moment, and giving to others and being generous with others. Compassion is such a generous quality to be able to embrace within ourselves. So today's class will practice these things, and you'll notice that there isn't a ton of vinyasa in it. However, you're welcome to add in as much as you'd like. I just suggest to maybe keep it pretty slow and pretty grounded. However, we will be working with longer held standing postures. So we'll be in poses a little bit longer than you might be used to. This is going to be great because it will help build stamina and help build tone through the lower half of the body, the legs, the feet. And through that, we'll build a solid foundation for where we move to next. All right, so we'll begin just very comfortably seated. For this class, also you'll need a couple of blocks, and having a strap will be handy too. So go ahead and close your eyes. Allow the shoulders to drop. And allow yourself to connect to the feeling of ground beneath you, and the feeling of what's solid and what's supportive underneath your seat. And we'll take a deep breath in through the nose. Open the mouth to exhale. And another deep breath in. Open the mouth as you release. And gently joining palms to heart center. We'll take a deep breath in for the sound of Om. Go ahead and release your arms, allow your eyes to open. We'll transition onto our back, so if you're sitting on something, just place it off to the side. And make sure you've got a couple of blocks handy, and you may decide that you need these or not. So with feet together, allow your knees to move apart, and then just 2 blocks somewhere underneath the knees or the thighs, giving a little bit of support to the legs. Go ahead and reach your arms overhead, holding onto opposite elbows. And from here, again, take a deep breath in through nose. And open the mouth to exhale. You might choose to do that exact same thing a few more times. Or if you're ready to, allow your breath to drop into its natural rhythm. But maybe with a bit of an emphasis on a longer exhalation or a more complete exhalation. Again, feeling the body drop in. Allowing the back of the skull, the back of the pelvis, the back of the arms to reach down into the floor. And with every exhalation, allow yourself to release more fully into the ground. And we'll gently switch the hold of our arms, so hold on to the non-habitual side. Usually that means just switching one arm on top of the other. Reach your arms alongside your ears. And again, allowing your exhalations to be a little longer, a little more complete. Feeling the eyes, the tongue soften, the jaw soften. Just one or two or three more full, complete breaths here. And from here, gently releasing the arms. Help your legs come back together. And just move those blocks off to the side. We'll come back to those in a moment. Go ahead and lengthen your legs out long on your mat. Okay? So just in Supta Tadasana, Shavasana. Okay. So letting the feet drop out to the sides to begin, allowing the collarbones to be broad. And just make sure you have enough space around you that your arms, your hands, your feet aren't touching anything. Okay. And go ahead and flex your feet. Bring the toes so that they point up to the ceiling. So now a true Supta Tadasana. And we'll just simply reach the right foot away from you. So you'll feel that the right side of your pelvis is tilting. Right side of the waist is lengthening. And gently release that. And simply reach the left leg away. So pressing the sole of the left foot into the wall in front of you in that direction. And gently releasing. And just moving side to side. So inhaling into this movement, pressing right foot away. And releasing. And then inhaling into the left, reaching left foot away. This motion mimics walking, and it's a really great way to reset the SI, to rebalance the pelvis. And as I'm sure you'll be able to feel, if you're not already, a good way to work out some of the sticky stuff that happens in the low back and the low belly. Just a couple more each side. Inhaling into the movement as you press the foot away. And exhaling to release. As you're ready, go ahead and reach your arms alongside your ears. Okay. And your palms can look up to the ceiling as you do this, so backs of the hands are to the floor. And then full body, so reach right foot away from you, reach right arm away from the center and inhale. And then exhale to release. And inhale as you reach left leg away, left arm away. And exhale to release. And just slithering side to side, inhaling, right foot, right arm reach away. Releasing, and then left foot, left arm away. And releasing when you're ready. So just moving side to side. The pace doesn't matter. You're free to pause anywhere that feels really great. Nice. Just one more, two more each side. Just feeling that stretch all the way from the center of the body through both the legs and the arms. Again, a gentle coaxing open, no need to force anything. When you come back to the center, go ahead and release your arms, release your legs, and pause in Shavasana. We'll bring our arms out to the side into a T, and again, you can have the palms facing up towards the ceiling. Bring your legs together into the midline so that they touch. And very simply, we'll slide the sole of the right foot, so take the knee out to the right, slide the sole of the right foot along the midline of the left leg, and then we'll bring right sole of foot to ground, bring the right knee to point up to the ceiling, slide that foot away from you. Okay? So externally rotating the right leg, turning the foot out, turning the knee out, slide your foot alongside the inseam of the left leg. And then sole of right foot to ground, knee points to the ceiling, and go ahead and slide that leg away. So again, just a couple more times like this. Turn the right leg out, right foot out, slide sole of foot along inseam of left leg. Knee points to ceiling, sole of the foot on the ground, and then slide away. So you're just encouraging right hip. Let's start opening maybe in a plane of motion. We don't do that often. And lengthening away. And last one like this, turning the leg out. Slide the foot along the inseam of the leg. Bring foot to floor, knee towards the ceiling. Slide the foot along the floor. Back to your beginning position. Let's move to the left leg. So left knee and foot turn out. Let's slide the sole of the left foot along the right inner thigh. Bring the left foot to the floor, left knee points to the ceiling, and then slide that leg away. Good. Again, we're inhaling into this movement. So as the foot slides up the inseam of the right leg, we inhale, and then exhale to slide away back in neutral. So 2 or 3 more of these. Allow the rest of the body to move quite freely. So if that means that you're kind of sliding a little on your mat, that's totally fine. If you happen to have a lot of congestion in the low back or in the hips, you might notice that you're yawning a bit or that you have the impulse to yawn. Go ahead and do that. It's just the body releasing fatigue and tension. And when we're back to center, go ahead and allow yourself to come back to center. Relax both legs. Release through both arms. Close your eyes. And let yourself be. And then notice any sense of aliveness in the body. Okay. Tingling sensation, pulsing, vibration. Heat or cool. And if that strap is nearby, go ahead and grab your strap, slide it to where you can get it. We'll hug the right knee towards the chest. I'd give it a nice little squeeze in. Okay. And then take your strap. I have a little loop in my strap, but you don't need to. Place the strap around the ball of the right foot, and then lengthen your foot towards the ceiling. Okay. Go ahead and draw all 5 toes back, reach up through the heel, and then let the shoulders drop. Let the back of the neck be long. And bring a little bit of awareness to that left leg now. Point the left toes up towards the ceiling. Ground the left thigh down into the floor. So it's almost like the left inner thigh is trying to reach into the ground. Shoulders are relaxed. Again, face, tongue, jaw are relaxed. All right, and we'll bring both sides of the strap into the left hand. Go ahead and bring your right thumb into your right hip crease. We'll take your leg across your body, just 20 or 30 degrees, like 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock if you were looking at a clock face. And just pause there. So the back of the right hip is still on the ground, right? And then from here, reach through your right heel. Draw the right toes back, and with your right thumb, gently press forward away from you, like you're trying to unstick anything on the right side of the waist. Again, we'll take a couple of in-breaths here. Filling all the way up, and then letting go. Let it be a complete exhalation, complete release of the breath. And on your in-breath, bring your leg back up to the center. Both sides of the strap into the right hand. This time bring your left hand, your left palm down to the top of the left thigh. And as you exhale, you'll take your right leg to the right. Okay. All right, so with right leg to the right, left hand to the top of the left thigh, gently press down through the top of the left leg. So back of the left hip is still on the ground. With your right toes, go ahead and look at your right foot. Try to rotate so that the right toes look down to the ground. You'll feel the top of the right thigh start to turn on a little bit more. Outer right hip starts to turn on a little bit more. So as we are in abduction, right? We've taken the leg over to the side. We are now externally rotating the leg as well. Go ahead and bring your right toes back to neutral. So the outer edge of the right foot is parallel to the floor. And on your in-breath, come back to the center. And one more time. This time we'll bring both sides of the strap into the left hand. Bend your right knee. This is just going to lighten the load on your back. Take your right arm to the side. And on your exhalation, go ahead and rotate onto that outer left hip for a nice supine twist. Right knee is still bent for a moment. Okay, and then we'll lengthen the right leg. So for some of you, that might mean that your knee is bent still. That's totally fine. It doesn't matter. For others of you, it might feel really great to let that leg be totally straight. Your left toes are pointed to the left. You're on the outer left hip. And then just like a butterflied shrimp, the chest is open to the ceiling. Imagine now that you had your right thumb in that right hip crease and you're gently pressing the hip crease away from you. One more big breath like this. And exhaling to release. And then to come out, we'll come out the same way that we came in. So bend your knee first and inhale to come back through the center. And we'll hug the knee to the chest, release the strap. Go ahead and lengthen your right leg. Should feel a little juicier, a little more alive than the left right now. And hug your left knee towards your chest. Okay, give it a nice big squeeze. And with your strap, loop or not, strap around the ball of the left foot. Lengthen your leg up towards the ceiling, sole of the foot to the ceiling. Draw the toes back and allow the shoulders to drop. Allow the eyes to soften again as you feel the weight of that leg in the back of the left side of the pelvis. Okay. A little attention to the right leg now. Right toes pointed to the ceiling, sole of the foot reaching to the wall in front of you, and the top of the right thigh rooting down. We'll take one more breath here as you reach through the heel. Feel that entire sheath of the left leg. Back of the left leg opening as you draw the toes back. And then both sides of the strap come into the right hand. Go ahead and take your leg over to the right. Just again, 20 or 30 degrees, about 1:30 or 2 o'clock if you were looking at a clock face is all the farther you need to go. If it's less than that, that's fine. Bring your left thumb down into your left hip crease. Okay? And as you reach through the heel, which again may or may not include your leg actually being straight, send your left thumb away from you And take a few big breaths into left side of the waist, outer left hip. So we have plenty of time to open through these areas. Allow this to be relaxed and gentle. And if you notice any tension through the body, which I'm sure you might, allow yourself to release into it, right? Tension in the body means that there's tension in the mind. And on your in-breath, we'll come back through the center. Bring both sides of the strap into the left hand. Right hand comes down to the top of the right thigh. And on your exhalation, take your left leg to the left. Okay, so back of the right hip is still grounding down. Top of the right thigh is still grounding down. Right toes are still pointed up to the ceiling. And then from deep within your left hip, look at your left toes and start to rotate left toes down towards the floor. So an abduction or abduction, right? Taking the leg out to the side. Now we're externally rotating as well. We'll go ahead and rotate that left leg back to neutral so the outer edge of the foot is parallel to the ground. And then inhale, come back through the center. Good, both sides of the strap to the right hand one more time. This time bend your knee. Take your left leg to the side, palm up. Take the leg across your body. Okay. And then from here, so you're on your outer right hip, right toes are pointed to the right. Reach your left heel away to the degree that feels useful and helpful to you today. Okay. Often more isn't actually better, isn't necessarily better, especially when we're focused on opening slowly, allowing the body to open in its own time, allowing our practice to reveal itself in its own time. And gently imagining that you have that left thumb now on your left hip crease, really gently roll that outer left hip away. So the left side of the waist gets longer. Like a little butterfly shrimp or a little filleted piece of trout. Go ahead and open the chest a little bit more, reaching through the left fingertips. And then to come out, we'll move in the same way we did to come in. Bend your left knee. Inhale to come all the way back to the center. Good. Knee into the chest. Release the strap, keep that off to the side, but within arm's reach, and we'll hug both knees into the chest. Might give yourself a little rock to the side, a little roll one way or the other. And then however you'd like to, go ahead and transition onto your seat. Make your way to hands and knees. From hands and knees, take your knees wider than hip distance. Grab a block, and we'll place it about midway up, just between the hands. You might need to adjust that as you settle the hips back. So bring the block with you, and allow your forehead to rest on the block. And if this is in any way problematic for your neck, feel free to bend your elbows and bring your forehead to the back of your hands. Just pausing here, eyes closed. Feeling the sensation of the ground beneath the hands. The weight of the pelvis as it reaches back and down. And let's take a deep breath in through the nose. And open the mouth to exhale. And on your in-breath, come all the way back up through the center. And bring your knees right underneath the hips. Walk your hands back. Go ahead and ditch that block off to the side. Wrists underneath the shoulders. Okay, and this looks a bit like cat-cow, but it's not cat-cow. We'll call them scapula dips if you want to. So instead of cat-cow, where we're rounding the spine, go ahead and just press down into the hands and feel the shoulder blades draw apart on the back. Okay? So belly's lifted no matter what. And then do the opposite of that. Draw the shoulder blades together on the back. Let the heart move down to the floor. Okay? Looks good. And then press down like you're moving the back of the heart to the ceiling. And inhale as you drop the heart down, draw shoulder blades together. Press down, back of heart to ceiling. And inhaling, heart moves to the floor. Good. So just moving back and forth like that. Allowing some of the sticky stuff in the shoulder blades to loosen, to defuzz, to warm. And all the way back through the center. So again, move into that exaggerated shoulder blade apart movement. And then find the space in between, right? So as you're letting that go and starting to drop the heart down, find the spot in between so that the shoulder blades feel like they're in their pockets. The heart can still reach forward. The front ribs are still drawing up and in, but you're stable through the shoulder blades. Okay? Keep the right hand on the ground. Go ahead and reach the right leg back. Okay? Ball of the foot touches the ground. We'll reach the left arm alongside the left ear. All right, so this is option number 1. See if you can lighten the ball of the right foot just a little bit and see how that challenges your balance. And then we'll release left hand to the ground, right knee to the ground. Okay? Go ahead and reach the left leg back, ball of the foot on the ground, toes tucked under. Okay? Stay here, reach the right arm alongside the ear. And then see if you can just gently lighten the ball of the left foot away from the floor. And we'll exhale, come all the way back to the center. And again, reach the right leg back. This time we'll hover the leg if you want to. So the top of the right thigh is pulling towards the ceiling, inner right thigh is lifting up. And then reach left arm alongside the ear. And exhale to release. Again, we'll reach left leg back. This time hover the leg away from the floor, just parallel. Lift the top of the left thigh up, inner left thigh is leading. And then maintaining that sense of stability and balance, right arm alongside the right ear. And exhale to release. So one more time, whichever way you choose to do this, right leg, left arm. And release. And then left leg, right arm. And release. Good, go ahead and reach right leg back. Go ahead and reach left leg back. Balls of the feet tucked under. Now here we are in a plank pose. So can you find that same spot in between pressing down and letting the heart sag down? So we're supported right in the center. Reach the heart forward. Front ribs draw up and in. Lengthen the tail to the heels. And then feel inner thighs pull up. Tops of the thighs pull up. So we're suspended in this beautiful balance point. So take another breath. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Go ahead and take your feet as wide as your mat. So feeling the apana, the downward moving breath of the exhalation. Okay. So as their feet root down, become just a little more aware of the pelvic floor. Anytime the legs are wide, it's a little easier to feel. Okay. And we'll exaggerate the curve, so go ahead and bend the knees. Reach the pubic bone, reach the tailbone up towards the ceiling. And then try to maintain that as you send the thighs back, as you send the heels back. Okay. And again, we'll bend the knees. Reach the pubic bone, reach the tailbone up towards the ceiling. Try to maintain that as you reach the thighs up and back, inner thighs leading. Okay? So in this position, a little easier to feel that extension in the back. And we'll walk the hands back. Nice, meet at the back of the mat, feet nice and wide. Bend your knees, take a hold of opposite elbows. And again, we'll take an in-breath here. Open the mouth, exhale. Good.
with both knees bent. Again, now we'll start to send the thighs back. Wrap the inner thighs back. Feel what that feels like, and then release the arms. Okay? So feet are working strongly, legs are working strongly. If that feels great to you, stay there. Otherwise, go ahead and walk your feet into parallel. Hip distance apart, all 10 toes pointed to the top edge of the mat. We'll bend the knees again, switch the crossing of the elbows. Pause and hang. And again, take an in-breath here. Open the mouth as you exhale. Okay, with knees bent, feel the sense that the pubic bone and the tailbone are reaching up to the ceiling. And then start to send the tops of the thighs back. And as tops of the thighs reach back, feel inner thighs root back. Okay. Release your arms. Bring your hands just to the tops of the calves. Okay. Bend your knees again. Send tops of the thighs back, send inner thighs back. And then with your hands resisting on the tops of the calves, send the top of the shin bone back as well. Good. Okay, maintain all of that. Release your arms. Walk the hands forward, keeping weight in the feet, weight in the legs. And come into downward facing dog. All right. So one more time, we'll bend the knees. Send pubic bone, send tailbone up towards the ceiling. Tops of the thighs back, inner thighs back. Tops of the shins back. Okay, as though there's resistance, as though there's hands on the backs of your calves. Right? And now, because some of us tend to be a little too mobile through the shoulders here, gently support your body by drawing the front ribs up and in. Right, so this is that same work, front ribs up and in, shoulder blades in their pockets. And now you're supported in a downward facing dog from your center rather than from your hands and your feet only. On your in-breath, shift forward to a plank pose, shoulders over wrists. And on your exhalation, downward facing dog. And a few more like that. Inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Again, inhale, forward to plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Twice more, inhale to plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward to plank. Good, pause, we'll stay for another breath. Thighs reaching up, heart reaching forward. And then exhale, downward facing dog. And we'll walk our feet up to meet our hands. Come to a forward fold at the top of the mat. A Uttanasana. And fingertips to shins. Good, a little bend through the knees. Inhale to lift halfway. Ardha Uttanasana. Good. Can you feel front ribs hugging up and in here? You can even bring your hand to help you do that. And you should be so supported that maybe your arms can float and reach back. And as you exhale, fold. Good. Root through the feet. Inhale as you reach up, look up, lift the chest. Exhale, bring arms by your sides. Samastitihi or Tadasana. All right. So coming to balance on your left foot, go ahead and turn your right leg out from the hip. Okay, so toes and knee are looking to the same side. And then we'll slide that foot up along the calf. You could also keep the toes on the ground, but along the calf, or for those of you who can, foot to inner left thigh. Okay, a really simple pose, Vrikshasana, tree pose. Bring your hands to your heart. Nice. Just like we did on the ground. So just keeping it simple with hands at the heart to start. Just like we did on the ground with the strap, try to rotate that outer left hip a little bit more. So top of right thigh continues to reach back, left knee continues to reach back. So it's happening from the outer left hip and deep within those rotator muscles. Okay, as you feel ready, reach your arms up. Allow the gaze to be steady on the ground, your drishti.
is soft. And if you're wobbling a bit, if you're wiggling a bit, that's totally fine. Just coming back in as you're ready. So one more breath here. And then exhaling to release the arms, release the leg, samastitihi. All right, shake out your legs, shake out your feet, and come to balance on the right leg. Turn your left leg and foot out from the hip. Okay? Either stay here or slide your foot along to the inner calf. Maybe you bring your foot up to the inner thigh if that feels good. And then hands to your heart. Okay? So without rotating the pelvis, which would look like you're just twisting your whole torso to the right, just try to move the right knee back in space from deep within that hip socket. Okay? So you're deeply externally rotating and abducting that leg. Top of the left thigh reaches back. And then as you're ready, reach the arms up. Allow the gaze to be soft and steady, just gently down on the ground. Shoulders released, neck released. And one last breath here. And then exhale to relax the arms, release the leg, samastitihi. And come back to the top of your mat if you're not already there. On your in-breath, we'll reach the arms up, lift the chest, look up. And on your exhalation, fold forward, uttanasana, forward fold. Bring fingertips to shins. Inhale as you lift halfway, let the ribs lift up. And then as you exhale, step just the left foot back. Turn the left heel down to the ground. Nice deep bend through the right knee and go ahead and grab a block. So block on the outer edge of the right foot. Medium or low setting are usually great for most people. Okay. Right arm is right on the outside of that right leg, the right shin. And on your in-breath, we'll reach left arm alongside the ear for Utthita Parshvakonasana, our side angle pose. So notice that my right knee is just above the right ankle. The left leg is reaching back. And just like we've been practicing, top of left thigh roots back. Okay? Outer right hip is drawing that knee into the right arm. And from there, we're allowed to open the chest. Let's even reach the left arm up. Open the chest, lean back. Okay? Maintain that. Re-reach the left arm alongside the ear, palm pointed to the floor. And then really, whatever's comfortable for your neck, looking down or forward or up, it's all good. Take another breath like this. Good. And as you inhale, left arm reaches up. Okay, slow transition. Walk your right hand and block back. Lengthen your right leg. Utthita Trikonasana, triangle pose. Okay. So notice you might have to shorten your stance a little bit, but otherwise keep it a little bit longer for today. And as you root through the feet, try to pull the heels a little together. So instead of the legs splaying out like a puppy on hardwood floors, try to pull the heels towards each other. Okay, send your left thigh back, and from that will allow you to rotate a little bit more, reaching the left arm up. Nice. Feel the stamina, feel the strength in the legs, and any fatigue, imagine rooting down through the feet. Imagine it melting, composting into the earth. Good. Can there be joy and lightness through the heart, even as we hold this posture? And we'll bring the left hand to the left hip. Look down to the floor, and then either walk forward, or I like to bring my foot back. Bring your right hand forward. Somehow make your way into Ardha Chandrasana. Right? Half moon pose. Okay, so look to the floor to start. Turn left toes to face the left, and then from deep in those rotational muscles in the outer right hip, rotate so that the whole pelvis starts to open to the left. If you fall like me, great.
Nice, so starting to open up, reach that left arm high. If you want to challenge your balance, you can look up, but it's just, I find it so much more grounding and soothing to look to the floor. And so one more breath, really opening through the right side of the pelvis. Right, so essentially the left leg is parallel or is neutral in its socket right now. And from here, we'll bend the right knee. Gently bring left foot down. Okay, step your right foot forward again and make your way back to Utthita Trikonasana. Good, last breath here. And then as you exhale, bend your knee. Both hands to the floor. Step forward to Uttanasana, forward fold. Good. You might bend one knee, move around a little bit. Okay. Great. So go ahead and grab your block again. We'll just have it handy on the left side. Bring fingertips to shin. Inhale, lift halfway. Front ribs in, tail back. And then as you exhale, step your right foot back. Turn the heel to the ground. So for most people, heel to heel is great. Heel to arch is great. You can go a little bit wider as well if you just like that stability. Okay? So block is on the outer edge of the foot. Knee is right above the ankle. Okay. And then from here, go ahead and rotate the torso open. So feel the right thigh root back, top of the right thigh reach back. Reach your right arm up, and then from deep within that outer left hip, wrap that hip under. Send your right knee or left knee out to the left. The effect is that you're externally rotating the leg pretty deeply in this pose. Okay? Turn the right palm to face the wall in front of you. Bring that arm alongside your ear. Good. And then just a little bit of preparatory work. Draw the front ribs in. Send the tail to the heel. Right thigh back. Good. You'll hear those cues again. And just feel the work of the legs, right? The strength of the legs. Reach right arm up. Go ahead, walk your left hand back a little and lengthen your left leg for Utthita Trikonasana, triangle pose. So trying to pull the heels towards each other. Continuing to draw the right leg back. This, for most people, feels like a really big hamstring stretch pose, right? But imagine that it could feel like a side waist lengthening pose. And we're here, joyful in the breath. The most wonderful way we can acknowledge the breath is by bringing joy to it. And then right hand to the hip. Look to the floor. Walk your left hand forward or slide your left foot back, however you like to. Okay? One way or another, right leg lifts. Ardha Chandrasana. Half moon pose. Okay, so looking at the ground, it's going to be really natural for that right hip to be kind of saggy and for the hip point to be looking to the ground. But with the right toes looking to the right, go ahead, and again, just like tree pose, or just like Utthita Trikonasana, or Utthita Parshvakonasana, from the outer left hip, start to engage and deeply rotate from that left leg. Right arm can reach up. Good, steady breath. Noticing if you feel tension anywhere in the body, tension in the mind. and allowing yourself to let it go. And we'll bring right hand back to the hip, bend the left knee, and then step all the way back. Again, bring your left hand back. Utthita Trikonasana one more time. And then bend the left knee. Hands to the floor. Step forward to Uttanasana, forward fold. Nice bend through the knees. And giving the shoulders a roll up and down. All right. Go ahead and bring big toes to touch. Let the heels be a little bit apart and then bend the knees. Inhale as you come to Utkatasana. Good. From Utkatasana, hover the left foot, step your left foot back. Come to a nice high lunge. Inhale. On your exhalation, hands to the floor. Step back to plank. One in-breath in plank. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Good. We'll inhale and reach the right leg up and back, inner thigh leading, toes pointed down. Exhale as you step right foot forward. Good. Keep the left knee high. And then inhale as you reach right arm up. It's just a nice open twist. Exhale, bring right hand to the floor. Step forward to Uttanasana. Again, big toe mounds touch, bend the knees. Inhale, Utkatasana. Awesome. Exhale as you come to stand, Uttanasana. Again, we'll bend the knees, sit the hips low, inhale to Utkatasana. And hovering the right foot, go ahead and step back to a high lunge. Inhale here. Exhale as you bring hands to the floor, step back to plank. One in-breath in plank. And then exhale, downward facing dog. On your next in-breath, reach your left leg up and back, inner thigh leads. Exhale to step left foot forward. Right knee stays high. And inhale, reach left arm up. And on your exhalation, left hand to the ground, step forward, Uttanasana. Good. Bend your knees, sit the hips low, inhale to Utkatasana. And then stay low, bring your left leg up. Wrap it around the right. If you can join the toes behind the shin, that's cool. If not, doesn't matter. Bring arms to the side. Bring left elbow under the right. Join elbows and palms for Garudasana. All right, so just allowing yourself to be here for a few breaths. Sitting the hips low. We'll inhale, rise up, release the arms, exhale to fold forward. And again, we'll bend the knees, sit the hips low, inhale to Utkatasana. Okay, bring the right leg up, wrap it around the left, and then sweep the arms to the side, right elbow underneath the left, join elbows and palms. Lift the elbows up, press the hands away, and as you exhale, sit the hips low. So now feeling all of those outer hip muscles, the deep rotators that we've worked so much, now starting to open a little bit more. And we'll unwind. Inhale as you reach the arms, release the leg. Exhale to fold, Uttanasana. Good. If you have a second block, go ahead and grab it. If not, one is great. Hey. With both blocks, just place them on the outer edges of your feet. Lift halfway for Ardha Uttanasana. And then we'll step the left foot back to begin with. And step it back just a little bit short of where you were. So it's just about a 3.5 foot step. Although that does depend on how long your legs are. Okay, go ahead and lengthen the right leg. Reach the heart forward. And on your exhalation, fold. So you'll notice here, there's a tendency to really bring a lot of weight into the right leg. Bring your right hand just behind the top of that right thigh and gently press that shin forward. Send the top of the shin back into the hand. Okay, can you do that? Rotate outer right hip back. So you could even bring your right thumb into that hip crease and reach back. We've been here before, we were just on our backs. And keep all of that the same. Send the top of the left thigh back. You're grounded on both feet. Neck is relaxed, head is relaxed. And then inhale to lift halfway. Good. Bring your left hand to that right block, so the block on the outer right leg. And if that doesn't work, move your left hand block to the instep of the right. And then with right hand on the right hip, go ahead and rotate to the right. So it's Parvrita Trikonasana. Okay, so most of the time when I teach this pose, there are always people who hunker into it. Imagine that this is Ardha Uttanasana. So the chest is still reaching forward. We're still trying to lengthen both sides of the waist and then reach the right arm up. Okay, left heel might lift a little away from the ground. That's fine. Just try and reach it down towards the floor if it's lifting. And again, it's a little harder to breathe here because we're in a twist, but allow the exhalation to carry you a little bit deeper. And then we'll exhale, release the hands to the blocks. Fold one more time. We'll bend the knee and step left foot forward to join the right, Uttanasana. Nice. A little shake through the head, a little shake through the shoulders. Step the right foot back, again, just a little shorter maybe than you're used to. Okay. I like switching it up, and I like switching up how to come into poses. I think that coming in from down dog is really great, and I love it. But I also really like changing that because I think you learn a little something different, and it's less habitual. Okay, so on your in-breath, lift halfway. And then on your exhalation, go ahead and fold. Okay, left hand behind the top of the left calf. A little press forward just to lighten some of that weight that tends to get transferred right into the joint. As you're doing that, send the top of the left shin back. Outer left hip reaches back. Top of right thigh, inner right thigh reaching back. Okay. Go ahead and release through the neck, the head, Parshvottanasana. And I always joke, I say this all the time, but this pose is sometimes translated as pyramid pose or often translated as pyramid pose. It really means side flank pose, okay? So Parshvottanasana is not about an intense hamstring stretch, although that also happens. It is about lengthening both sides of the waist evenly. So on your in-breath, lift halfway. And again, right hand can either move in or right hand can come to that left block. Left hand to the left hip. And on your exhalation, we'll rotate open to the left. So imagine, or you can even bring your left thumb into that hip crease, pull back, and then left arm can reach up. Heart is still reaching forward. So we have no hunchback situation happening here. And with all of that work of Parshvottanasana, or side flank, elongating pose, right? Now imagine that translated here as we move into a twist. And take one more breath like this. And we'll exhale, release both hands down. Let yourself fold and bend the knee. Step forward, Uttanasana. All right. Blocks to the side, just place them towards the middle of the mat just in case you decide you want them later. Bring fingertips to shins, inhale. And as you exhale, step back to downward facing dog. So in downward dog, gently imagine now that instead of just reaching the heart towards the ground, we're finding that midpoint. Front ribs are hugging up and in. Tops of thighs are reaching back. Inner thighs are reaching back. And then we'll bring the knees down. We'll bring the forearms down. And for some of you, having a block between the hands is going to be really helpful. For others, bring your palms to the ground. And then if you are pretty restricted through the shoulders and it just feels better, which some days that's just the case, interlace your hands. Just make real good contact with the outer edge of the hands, okay? Elbows are shoulder distance, hands are shoulder distance. Tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back. Make your way into a dolphin pose. Okay, so the tendency in dolphin pose, because a lot of us have restriction in our shoulders just from how we use our bodies every day, is to try and compensate for that by sending the ribs forward. So gently draw front ribs up and in. Okay, and you'll notice with knees bent, tailbone is reaching to the ceiling, pubic bone's reaching to the ceiling. Gently send the thighs up and back. That finds balance there. And pause. We'll bring the knees down. We'll settle the hips back. Come into a child's pose with head on block or not, arms by your sides or not. And then you have your option of either a dolphin pose again, or if you're comfortable with it, Shirshasana, headstand, okay? So hands interlaced, elbows under shoulders, crown of the head to the ground, walking the toes in. And then if you're working headstand, just coming in a way that feels stable and gentle, okay? So a lot of times in a headstand, we'll see the feet kind of piked forward a little bit. That's okay. But we're trying to reach them up to the ceiling. So tops of thighs back, inner thighs back. You've heard all of this before. Lengthen the tail to the ceiling, and then draw the front ribs in. Headstand is great for balancing that heaviness of the season. Brings a sense of grounding to the crown. Any sort of worry or any sort of stress that you might be under, you might imagine, whether you're in dolphin or headstand, that it's just draining into the ground. And then wherever you are, one way or another, gently making your way out. And again, resting in child's pose. You could also stack your fists, but since we have a block here, may as well use the block. Turn the palms up. All right, gently slide your hands back. Help yourself come up onto your knees, and then we'll just swing the legs around. Okay? We'll finish up really simply with a supported bridge and Viparita Kirani. So feet hip distance in parallel, arms by your sides. You can even hold on to the sides of your mat. It's a nice way to do that. Root through the feet, lift the hips. Okay, if you need to open through the neck a little bit right now, then pull the sides of your mat apart. If you're ready for a supported bridge, grab your block either on the low or the medium setting, although you certainly could do high as well with 2 blocks. Go ahead and place it just underneath the sacrum, so not the low back. This is a really nice way to release back of the neck and any tension that might accumulate there from headstand. Okay, so staying here if you'd like, or bring your knees up. Okay, so feet are floated away from the floor. Then you can try lengthening your legs to the ceiling. This is just one version of Viparita Karani. So imagining as you tip the fires upside down now, you're burning off any excess moisture, any excess earth through the legs, the pelvis, the feet, even the low belly. And gently bending the knees, bring the feet to the floor. We'll lift the hips, remove the block, and come all the way onto the back. Okay, arms out to the side. Go ahead and let your knees drop to the left and drop to the right. I always love a twist after a back bend, no matter how mild the back bend is. And cross the right ankle on top of the left knee. Right foot flexed, hands behind the back of the left thigh. Go ahead and hug your left knee towards your chest. And we'll just swap that out, releasing left foot to the ground. Right foot to the ground, left ankle on top of the right knee. Flex your left foot, hug your right knee behind your chest. And gently letting go of shoulders, mouth, jaw, neck, throat. And letting go, right foot to the ground, left foot to the ground. Any final movements you might need, take your time. And when you're ready for Shavasana, drop into Shavasana. Just a couple minutes of quiet here as you allow the body to reorganize with this new information. We'll take a deep breath in through the nose. Open the mouth and let go. Just feeling the body give way to gravity, give way to earth. Inviting any residual fatigue to leave, to flow outward and downward.
Gently inviting your breath to deepen. And feeling the lightness of the breath, the lightness of the body. Introduce any small movements like wiggling fingers and toes, licking lips, or full swallowing to clear your throat. In one way or another, gently transition to one side. And use your hands and your arms to help you come all the way up to a seat. With the spine nice and tall, again, join the palms to heart center. Bow the chin. Take a moment to acknowledge our practice. And as though the breath could move through the heart itself, we'll take a deep breath in for the sound of Om. Namaste, everybody. Thanks for joining.